This module will give you an overview on what is underwriting and talk a bit about why it's hard and give you some tips about how to make it easier. We'll look at what a lender's priorities are. We keep going back. We got to get to yes with lenders, right? And give you some more specific information about the underwriting process and the information required. If you sit through all 16 modules of this series, you might find certain sections challenging depending on your own background. So you can imagine how it might feel for clients that we want to serve. Many of them have not stepped into this space before, and this will be brand new information. So let's talk about underwriting. The required technical, financial, and lending knowledge is really significant. It's significant for you and even maybe more overwhelming for clients. Having quality digitized financial record is challenging for business owners who aren't sophisticated and have a lot of training in this. And that's often who we serve. Business owners have little experience with the lending process. Financial institutions, norms, standards, and processes, they were built to protect institutions from loss. And frankly, they tend to cater to people with a certain amount of privilege. That's how the system is built. And many of us are serving people who don't have that privilege. So they're kind of entering territory that wasn't created for them and can close the doors to their participation. And that's an additional reason why this is hard. The predatory lenders, unfortunately, are out there preying on often the very people we're trying to help because the money is fast and easy, but it's very damaging money. So you want to keep your eyes out and steer clients away from predatory lenders. And if clients have already taken out predatory loans, see what you can do to get those refinanced because those hurt our clients so much. But the reason predatory lenders work often is they kind of skip over normal underwriting, and in a way that's very damaging for our clients. And the final piece is some business owners need help with payment management over the life of the loan. Even if they qualify, there could be 2 or 3 years down the road where they hit a bump in the road and need help. And that's where sometimes your mission-based, community-based lenders will be a little more forgiving and have the ability to do workouts and modifications with clients with a little more flexibility than your formal, conventional banking institutions. So what is underwriting? It's the process a lender uses to decide whether to loan money and under what conditions. It's how an institution determines risk for a fee. The term underwriter originated from the practice of having each risk taker write their name under the total amount of risk they were willing to accept for a specified premium. And that's probably back in the days before a lot of formal banking, when people of means just got together and decided where to invest money, and they took out their quill pens and a ledger and wrote it all down like that. And so I think that's an interesting little tidbit from history about where this term underwriting came from. So what does the Small Business Administration say about underwriting? Well, they say it should assess all the relevant factors, some of which we've already started talking about. What is the cash or income capacity of the borrower? What does the overall creditworthiness or credit report look like? What is the value of the collateral? What kind of equity or investment has the owner made in the business? And are there any secondary sources of repayment? So with the process of underwriting, lenders want to determine risk by doing the analysis we're talking about, minimize loss and cost to the best of their ability, get paid back in full with interest, expand their base of creditworthy borrowers for future loan products. Every lender loves to do a second loan to a successful borrower anytime. And for mission-based lenders in particular, meet some of their community economic development goals. The underwriting criteria between our mission-based lenders and our traditional lenders is going to vary. The mission-based lenders, because they're focused on disadvantaged communities, because they have a focus on equity and access, they're going to have more lenient underwriting criteria. The traditional lenders, on the other hand, tend to be for-profit corporations. They answer more to the bottom line and profitability concerns, and they're more highly regulated. And so they tend to loan to those with more established credit, cash flow, and assets, and generally don't offer training and resources to sort of augment and support your clients. So what information is required for the underwriting process? Here you see on this slide a partial list. And as I've said many times, every lender is different. So it's good to know which lenders in your area require what types of information. For example, some will want to see projections, some won't. Some want financial statements, some are willing to work off of bank statements. Some require certain types of collateral versus others. So partly you need to know what each lender is going to need and then help your clients develop this long list, unfortunately, of documents that most lenders require. So what does the typical underwriting process look like? It starts with the business owner, the applicant, filling out an application and signing an authorization for a credit pull. Then the lender looks at the application and the credit and makes an initial eligibility assessment, and then the lender will request additional supporting documents. Now, I need to pause here because when I worked with CDFIs, I always said, please do it in this order, since we've already talked about that this document development is such a heavy lift for our clients. It's a courtesy if they can do an initial eligibility screening first before asking for all those documents. I will say that there are some lenders out there that will require all the supporting documents before they'll look at an application. So again, you're just going to have to find out how the lenders do it in your area. The lender will analyze the documents and compare the data that he or she sees in that information to their institution's credit box, underwriting criteria, and loan product structure. So again, they're looking at the application, they understand what their internal situation is, and they're seeing if there's a match. The lender might come back with questions and additional requests. I would expect that. I recently refinanced my house when interest rates were low, and every time I talked to the loan officer, he said, "Oh, we have everything we need." And I think 6 times he came back to me asking for more information. So just get ready for that and be prepared and say, sure, no problem. We'll get you that. At some point, the lender will get to a yes or a no. And if it's a yes, the good news is they'll start the closing process. And it's good to know that that will take time. And if it's a no, the best you can do is to see if you can find out why, if they're willing to tell you why, and then you can work with your client on improving that element of weakness that was in the loan package. So how long does the process take? Really anywhere from 3 days to 3 months, depending on all kinds of factors. And you can see here, I grabbed some of this data off the internet, but truly every lender is different. And this is where getting to know how your lenders work is the best thing you can do. I worked at a organization that did 504 loans, and I got to know the industry, and some people turned deals around in a month and some people in the exact same industry took 3 months. So it just really depends by the lender. Just want to, again, caution you that even though those online lenders can sometimes get money extraordinarily quickly within a week, it doesn't mean that it's a good product for your client. So please beware of any online sources that you send your clients to. And then also remember that even once you get to yes, except maybe for some online lenders, there's a closing process with some document development and signing and insurance papers and who knows what all, and that can take time as well. So here's some suggestions on how to navigate this process. First, I'd recommend watching all the modules in this series. I think you'll find some valuable information along the way. I would also suggest looking for additional training. As you go through this series, you'll see that certain sections require more technical information than others. So if you are interested in helping clients with capital access and you're not skilled in bookkeeping or reading financial statements, I suggest investing some time in learning those skills because there's just so fundamental understanding how this all works. The other big skill set you can develop is reading and improving credit reports, another big chunk of knowledge you can undertake. Knowing how to do projections, best practices, or bank account management. All these tools in your toolkit will help you and your clients get through this better to a lender's liking. Offer training as well as one-on-one help to get business owners ready on all these topics. I offer the technical support, but often the personal support. I know when I was doing this work directly with business owners, this can be a little daunting and emotional for some people, so be willing to provide both kinds of support. Get personal with the small business lenders in your region and see accessing capital as a long-term, multifaceted project. So that completes our module on what is underwriting, and I'll see you in our next module on the 5 C's of credit.